Okay, Baby Please Don't Go. Lots of different ways to do this one. I'm going to have a look at a very simple, couple of simple little ideas that you can take to your guitar. Have a listen to Muddy. Again, also, of course, Them, Van Morrison. AC/DC, if you remember that far back. Of course, did a classic version of it too. So here we go. There's one way to do it. You can also play it on the slide. Let's have a look at that first though, shall we? So the melody is from the 4 note to the minor 3rd note there. 4 note top string, 1st fret, minor 3rd here on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and it's baby please don't go, and then back to the open. Yeah, so it's just the melody line. Baby please don't go. You could also play that baby please don't go with your slide up there. And then just shuffle anything you want in there. Baby please don't go. Put a little riff in if you want. For now, we'll just do the shuffle. Baby please don't go. And then we go to the flat 7 to resolve. Well, it doesn't resolve, does it? It finishes the line and sets it up for the next part. So again, baby please don't go, baby please don't go, baby please don't go. So that's 5th fret to the 3rd fret, backwards and forwards on the 2 middle strings. And then you play the 1 there on the 3rd string to go slide back there to the 7, or and then open to the flat 7 there on the 3rd fret. Back to there, and then up to just slide, play the whole chord up there, or just the C note on the thumb, and then the 1st finger, 2nd string, and then slide up to the 7th fret to play the 5 chord. Don't worry about playing the melody in there, just sing along. And back to here. Finish it off any way you like, really. That's an easy one, minor 3rd. You know I love you so. That works along with that. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of different ways you could play it. You could play it by playing with the vocal. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go down to New Orleans. You know I love you so. Or you could call response. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go down to New Orleans. You know I love you so. And you would have heard different versions do one or both of those. So let's have a look at the call response thing. Stop. Baby, please don't go. You could put the slide in there, couldn't you? And then just keep your fret there on the 5th fret and play the 5th fret 3rd string, or play it open. Options. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go down to New Orleans. You know I love you so. to solo. When you're playing these two chords here and you've got so little time, you can afford to just be fancy with your right hand, do some fancy finger picking just on the chord, or slide up to it as you're doing that. Here we can introduce a little trick that's that you'll use all over the place, and that's sliding from the minor third up to the major third on any of these chords, right? So when you play the major third in any chord, you're really announcing the tonality of that particular chord that you're moving to, because it's major, it's so important part of the chord, such an important part of the chord. And when you slide up to it in that bluesy way, you get a cool little melody just by picking with your fingers, because you're tuned to the chord. Anything that's any chromatic movement between chords, like one fret at a time between chords, is always going to be cool. And you can also, on both of these C and D chords, play the notes 2 frets behind. That's always okay too. Okay, so you could do that on the C, so that's from the 4th fret up to the 5th, then the 5th back and back up again. So that's minor third to the major third, and then the 1, and then the flat 7, and the 1 in this C chord. Yeah. Same sort of pattern on the D. Yeah, little thing over the G, and then finish on the D again. Okay, a few ideas to muck about with your soloing. We'll have a look at more of those when we get to the advanced improv stuff, but it's not going to hurt to play around with them. And there's a lot of room for experimenting in a tune like this. So, cheers. Okay, another Muddy Waters version of an old tune, Rollin' and Tumblin'. There's lots of different ways to play this, lots of different lyrics and different ideas with it, but we'll look at the sort of standard sort of shot at it. And that means looking at the progression. It's 12 bars, but it's slightly different to your standard 12 bar, and also the riff. Right, so the riff to start with goes like this. Okay, so what's that? That's open. It's all played on the middle 2 strings, right? On the second string it's open up to the 3rd fret minor third, and then open again, and then slide up to the 2nd fret to play the 6th note on the 3rd string, back to the tonic again on the 2nd string, slide up to the minor third, and open. So slowly. Yeah, pretty simple. Open 3rd fret, 2nd, open 2nd fret 3rd, open 3rd fret 2nd, and open. But again, it's not the notes, it's the placement of the notes. So yeah, so if we're tapping our foot up and down, it's down and down and down, up. And if you happen to hit that one there on the way, no one's going to die. Yeah, it still sounds fine. Okay, now to the tune. It's a 12 bar, like I said, but the first couple of bars are on the C chord, on the 4 chord. So it goes like this. Well, I rolled and I tumbled and cried the whole night long. I rolled and I tumbled and cried the whole night long. morning. All I had, she was gone. Yeah, so I'm not doing anything really on those other chords. We're moving along pretty quick, so I just play them. Yeah. If you listen to Muddy, you'll notice that it's not exactly like that. He actually plays that riff 3 times, so there's an extra bar every time. So that would make it, 14 bars altogether. So Muddy will play it like this. There's the intro. Well, I rolled and I tumbled and cried all night long. Then we'll do this 3 times. Yeah, I rolled and I tumbled and I cried the whole night long. Again, 3 times. Woke up this morning, yeah, my biscuit roller gone. And then back up to start again. Okay, so the main thing is figuring out which version of that you're going to play. If you're by yourself, you can play it as many times as you like. If you've got other people, then you need to discuss it beforehand. And that riff. Now, of course, you'll notice that you could have played this on a 3-string. We're not using that top string at all. So, I guess when you go to play the chord there, it's handy to have that note on top. But you can also, let's see what we can do with the solos. If you're playing a solo, you could do some sort of pattern on the C chord there, like we looked at with Baby Please Don't Go, how you can play these sort of patterns over a chord in this position. If you slide up 3 frets away from the chord, you go to the 5 note in that chord. Yeah, so that's a little blues pattern you can play on that chord there. Of course, you don't have the chord available to you, so all that you could do on the C. Yeah, 5, slide up to the major 3rd, and then the 1, and then the flat 7 and the 5. When it's a C chord, those notes have different numbers when it's a G chord, but that's the 5th note in C. Again, all will be revealed later, but for now, if you just play that on a C, it'll work. And the main thing, anyway, is to get your skills up with this workshop. It's not about improvising yet, so if you can get that sorted, then you'll be right. And there's a lot of right-hand muting that you have to do with this, yeah? So you play the note, mute it, mute with your thumb. Yeah. Make sure that you mute those notes when you finish them. Cool, rolling and tumbling. Okay, you got to move. Now the thing with this one is we play most of it on that 2nd string because we need to be playing between the cracks here, between the major and the minor 3rd. And you can't do that when you've got the major 3rd on top. And also for that reason, we usually don't play that 5 there. We generally play the 5 up here so we can slide in between. Okay, let's have a look. Etc. Okay, from the top A, open, slide to the major 3rd, note there on the 4th fret, 2nd string, up to the 4 to the 5. So that's major 3rd up 1 fret to the 4, up 2 frets to the 5 on the 7th fret on that 2nd string. Oops. Then we've got that little riff that we repeats throughout, which is bass, 3rd fret on the 2 middle strings, that's the flat 3 and the flat 7, and then open. Classic little blues riff, right? Okay, so again, open, major 3rd, 4, 5. I play the 5 up here so I can slide back to the 4. That's the 7th fret back to the 5th fret. Open. And again slide from the 3 up to the 4. And that can be a little bit slower if you want. And then the riff. And then, oops, no, we go here then, don't we? Play the 5 there. So that's the 5 up here on the 7th fret in the same string, 2nd string. It's just easier to slide back there than to go here. Although you could do that if you wished. Then I go to the 5 on the top string on the 3rd fret, 2nd string 3rd fret, 2nd string 4th fret, and open. Okay, just picking the 2nd string, the top string with my middle finger and the 1st string with my index. And then the riff. And then I'll play the because when the Lord, that bit, the 1st note there with the D note with my thumb on my right hand, and then 3rd fret, open, and again slide up to the major 3rd. You can even sort of play in the cracks there a little bit. You could also play that with your finger and then slide around on that one if you wanted to. Yeah, so those two again, open, 3rd fret, 3rd string, and then 2nd string, open, up to the 4th fret to play the major, or playing the cracks. And the riff. Get ready. Okay, so there we go. Up to the 4th fret there to play the major 3rd, and then the 3rd string, slide down. That enables you to slide down and get that sort of effect. You could also play it like that with the open 1 there on the 2nd string, and then fret that one down. Use that as a variation perhaps. And don't play that little riff in there, just play the bass note. And then I'd play that up here on the 5th fret, 3rd string, so that you can get some vibrato on the 1 at the end. Yeah? A great tune for practicing your vibrato, for howling in these little cracks between the major and the minor 3rd, that really bluesy thing to do there. And it's just a really cool tune for slide too. When you're improvising on that, you can, up here on the 12th fret, 11th and 12th fret, play that in between the minor and major there a lot as well. There's your 1 there to be mucking around with that little classic little space there as well. Yeah. Alrighty, you got to move. Robert Johnson, Walking Blues. Woke up this morning, feeling around for my shoes. You know by that I got them. walking blues. Well, woke up this morning, feeling round for my shoe. You know, by that I got them, well, mean old walking blues. Or something like that. And the reason I say that is that well, for a start, I'm not Robert Johnson, and I've got a 4-string guitar, and of course there's other things you can do with it. But mainly because Robert Johnson wouldn't have ever played it the same way twice anyway. You listen to the alternate versions of the various different takes that you can get hold of. You can hear how each of them are different, and also you can see from verse to verse how, while he maintains a basic idea, basic sort of theme throughout, he'll mix it up and change it all the way through. So please feel free to do the same. I'll run through the tune as best I can, looking at some bits that you can vary and some bits that you really want to stick with. The intro. Now, you can play the intro like this on the 15th and 16th fret, so that you get the 5 and the major third there. But I just played it with a slide on the 5 on the 15th fret. It's in your notes, but I'll just run through it anyway. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Woke up this morning. Okay, let's go through that again. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we have 1, 2, 3. So that's 1 on the 15th fret there, up on the top again. 2 is on the 11th fret, major 7th, which sounds a bit weird, but that's okay because we're moving back to the 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 11th fret and 12th fret there, and then first beat of the bar on the 12th fret there on the 3rd string with your thumb to play that D note, and then on the upbeat just play the open G on the 2nd string, the 1. And then a little classic sort of turnaround idea is 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 1st fret, and play the little triplet with that. Onto the top string, the G string there, the 2nd string. And then that little run from the 3rd fret to the 4th fret, the minor to the major 3rd, on the bass that is a bit of a theme throughout the piece, right? So that intro there, there will be variations on that. You could play this turnaround bit here, like that, with the first one on the downbeat on the 3rd fret there, the flat 7, and then the upbeat on the tonic on the 2nd string open, or just play them both together, or any of those ideas is just fine. Any turnaround you like in there. And then let's woke up this morning, and then we're into the tune. Now the thing about this is that we started off with the sort of bluesy triplet da-da-da-da-da-da-da shuffle thing, and then we go into a really straight feel, so it's down, just down the downbeats. Woke up this morning. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and woke up this morning. Again, feeling around for my shoes. Again, you know by that I got them. Again, walking blues. Now this time I go 1 on the bass, pardon me, 1 on the bass, and then 2 octaves higher on the 8th fret there on the top string. vibrato on the C note there, on the 5th fret. And listen to Robert Johnson, or that, just play that sort of rhythm there like that. Anything you like is fine, but he really mixes it up in there with some sort of funky rhythmic stuff. And it's down, 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 so it's 1, 2, 3, and 3, 1, 2, and 3, and down, 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 like that. And then, and back to the 1 chord, it's so it's sort of mixing up the 2 bits from the first 4 bars, this bit that we opened with, but on the second one you add that top note, so it's again it's written in your notes, but there it is there, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2, 3, 4. Then the last 4 bars, rather than just going to the 5 and then the 4 and the 1, which most people do, and if you're jamming, that's what you do, because you don't want to have to explain it to everyone. But what Johnson did on the recording was he went to the 4 chord there, and then to the 5 for half the next bar, and to the 4 for the second half, and then back. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to the 1. Yeah. I think in the recording he probably went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back to the 1. He'd mix up his timing all the time, but we're not going to get that complicated, right? So it's you know by that I got down. No, hang on. You know by that I got down. Mean old walking blues. And then back to those 2 bars that we played earlier. So it's difficult in that it's different, because it's old style, sort of Robert Johnson sort of thing to do. But if you want to mix it up and play it like as a more standard sort of modern type way, you can. Just keep that riff. Woke up this morning, feeling around for my shoes. You know by that I got them old walking blues. Well, woke up this morning, feeling around for my shoes. You know by that I got them mean old walking blues. And then you can add all your other riffs to it. So, woke up this morning, feeling around for my shoes. You know by that I got them walking blues. Yeah, woke up this morning, feeling around for my shoes. Well, you know by that I got them mean old walking blues. Anything like that, right? But have a go at the Johnson version, or the approximation that we've got in your notes there, and learn some of his ideas. And that's a great little piece to get down to. Walking Blues. Cheers. Okay, Muddy Waters, I can't be satisfied. Let's just run through it first, shall we? Okay, there we have it. That's the tune. So we start first of all by looking at Muddy's approach to this. He has a big wide vibrato when he plays. If you ever see video of him, he's mad. He's all over the place with it. And he sort of repeats that in his approach to a note generally. So rather than sort of hitting it, with that intensity, he sort of a bit lazy on it, you know, which is sort of similar to his vocal style. But anyway, that's what he does. Slides up to the 15th fret, then the 11th on the same string to play the minor third, and then the 1 there. So it's the same as 5, flat 3, 1. Simple little blues scale thing. And then open, slide from the 2nd fret to the 3rd, and then open again. So again. Twice. 3rd time round, play the minor third twice to the 1, and then a little open string before you go to the flat 7 there on the 10th fret, flat 3rd, and open. Then it's open on the 3rd string, and I play that with my fingers this time so I can keep that thumb to mute the bottom string. So that's open, 3rd fret back to the 2nd, and then open, little run really to lead into the C chord. Yeah. And then open, flat 3rd, flat 7, flat 3rd, 1, so flat 7 on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, 3rd string, 3rd fret, top bottom string, 3rd fret, and open. So again. And Muddy gives it that big vibrato. So play with that too. So it's and then to the next riff, which is on the 1 again, up on the 8th fret on the top string, back to the flat 7, 2 frets behind on the 6th, to the minor 3rd, I should say. 3rd fret, 2nd string, open. And then another little run, the same, similar to what we did before. You could play it like that, or just open on the 3rd string, slide up to the 3rd fret, and then the 1 on the top. And then this little lick that we've seen before to the 5, and then to the 4, and that little lick again from the minor 3rd to from the flat 7 to the minor 3rd. And I'm going to play that with my finger so that I can keep that bass string muted. It's important to mute that bass string in this tune. Up here too. And then mute it again. Okay. So there's your and then at the end of the thing it goes. The same lick we saw before, twice on the 1. But this time we slide up to the 7th fret to play the 5. Okay, can't be satisfied. Minor pentatonic scale. Classic blues stuff. And the big vibrato and the big muddy sort of lazy type approach to it. Cool, have fun with that one.